You're listening to Real Talk Texas on 570 KLIF News and Information. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert Steve Hakes.
Welcome to Real Talk Texas. I'm your host, Steve Hakes, heard every Sunday here at noon on KLIF News and Information 570. Real Talk Texas is a forum where listeners can get real advice from real experts. And as always, you can reach out to me with your questions by jumping online and visiting realtalktexas.com. That's realtalktexas.com. Or simply call me when I'm off the air at 214-643-6021. And yes, I'm a federally licensed mortgage originator, NMLS license number 242522. On previous shows, and one of the things I really appreciate is that we've got seem to be building a good, loyal audience of listeners. So those of you out there that have been listening every week, really appreciate that. Appreciate the feedback we're getting on the show on the website, as well as a text that we started doing that a few weeks ago, where you can actually text the show about the topic that we're talking about, and we get you actually connected to these real experts that we bring on the show. And, you know, we've talked about the real estate market and how it's performing, and we really feel like, in most of the experts I've had come on the show that are realtors, or if they're a builder, they've talked about how the market has really bottomed out as far as pricing. We're not back to 2005 levels, but we've bottomed out. Pricing is starting to come back. And we're talking, that's just the normal inventory that's on the market, that there's not enough homes for sale. So there's a supply and demand issue there. And so we really feel like that, with an addition to all the jobs in the North Texas area, things that are happening there are real positive, that we're going to have a very strong real estate market for the next 5-10 years here in North Texas. And so we look for opportunities. And if you're an investor, or if you're someone getting ready to sell your house, it's really a seller's market right now. So where's the opportunity to make money if you're going to sell your house, or if you're buying as an investor to buy real estate and turn and make a profit? So we've had some other realtors on the show to talk about the distressed inventory that's in North Texas. That's anything that's like pre-foreclosed or foreclosed homes, or, you know, people just need to get out of their house. That's the opportunity to buy low and sell high, I guess, is the point. And so I asked Paul, our producer, to find some people. One of the things I think my wife Dana loves, these A&E shows that Flip This House, Property Brothers, all that stuff. So we're always watching these shows, and I find it very interesting. And I'm wondering, hey, is there anybody in Dallas Fort Worth that can help us with that if we decided to get into that business? And so I asked Paul to research the market and find two experts that could come into the studio today and just talk about being part of a team and what they do for that. So it's my great pleasure, to bring in, I've got Phil Loesch of Make Ready Specialists, and I've got Murphy Dykes of Peaks Flooring to join us today. And I want to tell you who these people are, and they're truly real experts in this industry, and they can be a great help to you. Phil Loesch of Make Ready Specialists, his company provides remodeling expertise. He gives his customers advice on what to do, and better yet, what not to do to make sure that they make a profit on a house if they're buying it and repositioning it to sell, or flipping, as some people call it. So as far as repositioning, Phil's our expert. He's completed over 200 homes last year in the Metroplex, and I'm pleased to have Phil on our show. Welcome, Phil.
Well, thank you for having me.
And Murphy Dykes of Peaks Flooring has also joined us. And Peaks Flooring has operated a flooring company in the Dallas-Fort Worth area since 1969. And he's been recognized as the Consumer's Choice Award for the last 7 years as the best flooring establishment in DFW. And flooring is a big part of this, and so I'm so happy to have Murph on, because he's going to share with us today some of the new technologies and things that have happened in the industry of flooring that can really make a difference on when you're getting ready to sell your house. Maybe you're updating it, or maybe you're working with investors and they're flipping the property or repositioning that asset. So I can easily say, again, here on Real Talk Texas, we've got some real experts in the studio, Phil and Murph. So let's talk about it. Let's jump right into the topic. Okay, guys, say I've been watching all these A&E shows and, I flip this house, and it's very intriguing. I think a lot of people, we've had Alicia Trevino in the studio the other day, and, some of it's flip it, some of it's buy and hold. And in order to do a rent house and really make the most money, you want to buy right. I always say in most cases in the real estate market, you make your money on the house on the purchase and what you pay for it. So, if I were going to get in that business, basically how would I get started? How would you guys help? Let's start with Phil.
Well, the first thing you need to do, obviously, is find a house. So in order to do that, you probably need to set your team up with your realtor, with your finance people, find your deal. Once you find a deal that intrigues you, that you think you're ready to go on, that's where you'll get somebody like me involved, where we'll come out, assess the property, evaluate the property, tell you what kind of potential the property has for your after repair value, so that you can essentially, that's where you're making your money, is the difference between what you purchase on and what it's worth when we're done. So we need to get in, assess the value of the property afterwards, see what it's going to take to bring it up to that level, and decide then if it's a good deal. Once you go from there, then get involved, purchase the property, do all the work, and turn around and resell it. So the biggest thing to get started is having your team in place. First on the money side, then on the real estate, having your broker and your agent set up, then getting your work done, and then turning around and selling it.
Now, as far as getting your team set up, I know that we have here at Real Talk Texas, we got several realtors that focus on this area. So if you're interested and you're listening out there, later on in the show, we're going to talk about how you can contact us to get somebody to build your team. And as far as buying right, that realtor's got to do that. They got to know what your parameters, what you're looking for. Doing the math, and we've talked about this on previous shows. It seems to me that a lot of the real estate repositioners or people like that, they're doing one of two things. They're either using a self-directed IRA to put some funds into real estate, or they've got some cash or a money partner that they're doing, because going through me or a mortgage thing can be a little bit tricky when you're just buying to flip, because the parameters on buying an investment property is you have to put 25% down, okay, versus buying your own house. There's lots of creative programs where we can, USDAs are 0 down, VAs are 0 down, the rest of them are 5 and 3.5% down, that kind of thing. So yes, you got to get that piece down, do your research. And the other part of the math is, and my brother-in-law's worked with you, Phil, and that's one of the reasons we got connected. You did such a great job with his house that he just sold, by the way. And what he says is that you basically take that whatever you're going to put into the house and whatever what you think you're going to sell it, that you buy it for 65% of the after repaired value. Okay. So 65% after repaired value. So that's where you come in, and Murph, you would come in as far as what's the cost of materials and things like that. What's it really going to cost me to get to that 65% of what I think I can sell it for, right? Is it
correct?
Is that what you're hearing out there too?
The percentages will vary because there's 2 or 3 different levels of homes. You've got your lower end properties, your mid properties, and your high end. So depending on which properties you're actually looking to flip, your percentages will vary. Most investors, real successful, will have a plan, and they'll have a system, and they'll have kind of their criteria. What kind of houses they want to buy, what kind of margins they want to make, what areas that they're comfortable doing things in. And that's the big thing, is to don't just look randomly for properties, think, oh, there's X amount of money to be made on this property, it looks like a good deal. Establish your criteria, stick to those. It's when you start making adjustments on the fly that tend to cost you a lot more money than you'll make back. So the biggest thing is to set up a system, set up a plan, set up a team, and then implement your system. As simple as it sounds, that's the easiest way to do it.
Well, you're listening to Real Talk Texas, and you just tuned in. We've got Phil Loesch and Murphy Dykes, and we're talking about flipping houses right now or repositioning an asset in the marketplace. So stay tuned. We're going to tell you how to get in contact with these guys if you're really thinking about getting into real estate investment and turning those properties for a profit. So stay tuned.